Hi, Merlin's Mountain calling. My name is Andy. Thank you so much for looking into the channel today. We are going to do a pick a card reading with the bunnies again. Tarot in Wonderland. Haven't used this one in a while. Haven't used this one in a while either. We're going to use Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light to give some meaning and some more extra sort of definition to the tarot cards as we go through them. So prepare yourself to pick a card. I'm shuffling now, and just while I'm shuffling, guys, please, quick reminder, hit the old subscribe button if you haven't already. More videos coming in all the time, and if you enjoy this kind of content, hit the subscribe button. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. And I'm sure my regular listeners will, what's the word? I don't know, they'll attest to, that's the word, they will attest to that. Okay, long word. So 5 cards off the top, and what have we? Okay, right, here they are. I want you to pick a card, okay? Whichever card you pick, you will get an oracle card from Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray to go with it, to give some extra definition. Okay, so we've got, stand still a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Those are the ones to go with. Okay, so which number are you actually going to go with, guys? Pick now before you know what the cards are. You can pick 1, you can pick 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them. Pick all 5 if you want. Why ever not? I usually do. Kind of complicates things a bit, but it does leave you with a clearer picture at the end. I'm sure that's what I always find anyway. So card number 1, here it is, and it is the 2 of Pentacles. So a balancing act going on. But as we can see in this card, the Hatter here is the Mad Hatter, because this deck is based on Alice in Wonderland. The Mad Hatter isn't actually going to drop these. We can see that he's more than under control of everything. You know, everything is absolutely fine here. But he is having to juggle. He's going to succeed, but he doesn't know that. He's going whoa, all over the place and not at all sure where things are going, what's going to happen. So if you pick this card, guys, I guess you're juggling with this situation in life. Hey, aren't we all? This is just the nature of life at the moment. The world is, as usual, a very crazy place. And we can see in the distance, just like in the traditional Rider-Waite images, there is the sea in the background. But in this sea, there are ships hanging about. And what's in those ships? That is symbolic of ships coming in, bringing things towards us. Will you be able to handle it? That is the question. Well, this card says you can, pretty clearly. Might take a bit of work, might take a bit of effort, but you can. You really can. And so let's pick up a card from Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light, and we have Mahavatar Babaji here. Very kind of yogic figure. Just take a close look at that card, if I can get it away from the old light there so you can have a proper look. And there he is. A vision of calmness, really, but there's something serious about that face. And, you know, life, no matter how calm we are, no matter how well we're managing our juggling, balancing act in life, there's always kind of a serious side to things, because there's always something coming down the pike, like the ships are going to come in, something to keep our concerns alive and keep us guessing. This card says soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding, just like your soul. It's all part of the same thing, really. And it says you understand the connections between all things. So maybe you felt a bit disconnected, and this is actually deepening my ideas about what's going on in the 2 of Pentacles juggling act here. It's not just balance, it's actually trying to get back in sync with things, to get yourself back in balance with whatever is going on around you. You actually can. That's the message here. But just like Mahavatar Babaji, you've kind of got to give some meditation to it. You've got to give some time to thinking about it. It takes some kind of calm time. I bet there's something you enjoy doing that you haven't done for a long time. I used to love listening to shortwave radio, and as regular viewers will know, I have been without the internet rather a lot in recent times, and that made me dust off my, it was actually very dusty indeed. I dusted off my old shortwave radio and plugged the aerial in, and sat there listening to things like Radio China and stuff that we can get from here. Radio Romania as well. I was listening listening to some great Romanian music last night. And that sort of gives me a time out, really. It's kind of an enforced time out because I'd much rather be getting on with work. I'd much rather be kind of growing my business and doing all the things I need to be doing when the internet is working. But sometimes you just can't. And believe me, the answers I have found through just kind of getting meditative and reconnecting at this crazy time, in this crazy world, has done me a lot of good. It's given me not just a vision of how I could do the things I wanted to do, but how I can kind of adapt to the new conditions, the new situation that I'm in, how I can make that whole thing work for me. And that's what's really important, guys. You've got to make life work for you. Sounds selfish, but really, the more you actually do that is aligning within yourself and within your soul, the more then you can actually do for the people around you, the people who depend on you, the people who need you. And the more real, the more real you can make it. You've got to keep it real. And sometimes when new situations come along, we've got to make it real before we even think about keeping it real. Just got to get everything real. It's a very unreal kind of world we live in, but we're all still real people. I think that's what many of the news people and the politics people, I think they forget that. We are all still real people living in these crazy, unreal conditions and situations. So there you have card number 1. So we come to card number 2, and this one is the Knight of Pentacles. So we've had 2 Pentacles cards in a row. Quite auspicious, actually, if you picked these 2 or if you picked all 5. This is a very, very good start. The Pentacles, of course, are much to do with abundance, and they're also very earthy. It's all about the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And that earthiness is really what we're going to need, and particularly, friend, what you are going to need if you pick this card. Okay, here he is, kind of looking a bit crazy, really, but everything's crazy in Tarot in Wonderland because everything's crazy in Alice in Wonderland. That's just how it rolls. It's how the deck rolls. And this deck is very close to how I roll as well. Let me take a closer look. Yeah, look, he's got absolutely everything with him. He's got things tied onto him. He's got his saucepan on his head. And the poor little horse there is being completely crushed by all the stuff he's got with him. You see, the Knight of Pentacles values resources, and in that sense, he's a little bit like the Emperor in the Major Arcana. He's just kind of less serious and less good at things. He seriously hasn't understood what he's preparing for here, because his preps are actually bringing him down and holding him down. Do you know anyone like that, friends? I must admit I'm a bit like that. My kitchen is absolutely full of long life food, and I can hardly move in there. And yet, because I still can buy food, I keep on buying new food and eating that. So sooner or later, I should start actually using up the resources I've gathered and letting the abundance flow. And that's what's been cut off here a bit. But it is a Pentacles card, and it is a Royal Pentacles card as well. So it's going places. Basically, because this guy understands the value of things, in other words, finances, that kind of thing, he knows that money comes and goes, so he's hanging on to some. But, don't ever do anything to hold up the flow of abundance. That is the main problem that spiritually kind of bothers us a lot of the time, because with the spiritual life and with the knowledge of angels and all the wonderful things that go with spiritual understanding and knowledge, we kind of hope we'd be in a better place, and we would be able to work things out more quickly and make some magic happen. And we can, actually. We are very privileged people to be spiritually aware, and that is quite a rare thing, as witness the fact that tarot readers, angel readers, people like myself, people like yourselves, I guess, don't get too much promotion on YouTube. And out there in the big wide world, people think we're all a bit crazy, and people tend not to trust where we're at. But that's just it. We have got a great advantage here, but very often people don't get that advantage and what it's all about. As a spiritualist medium, I give out messages in churches and sometimes on live streams if I can do them. And by the way, do hit that subscribe button, because there will be more live streams at some point when I can eventually get the internet flowing fast enough to do that again. And there's always some evidence, you know. You need to kind of not just give the person's name that's come into your head and the message. You need to give some evidence that you really are linked into that person. It makes the whole thing more real. And often that evidence will be something like Uncle Tom says you found a coin on a tabletop in a particular room on a particular day. And other people watching that will say, well, you know, what a dull thing. You know, you'd think there'd be something more exciting than that coming through. But it's just a bit of evidence that actually, for the person who is actually receiving that message, it really lets them know that they're being watched over, and that the person they've loved and lost to the spirit world is actually still somewhere close around them. And that is really, really typical of how all the small things in life really do matter and really do make a difference, because the big things we do, the big things that happen to us, depend on the smaller things going on in the world. It's often been said about angels, you know, they will help you find a place to park your car, things like that. Things that seem quite small in the great scheme of things, and this is because they know that all the troubles we have in life are the sum total of lots of small things going wrong, and if they help us with all those small things, we just get a better view of the bigger picture, and we can be ourselves more, we can give more to the world, coming back to that one again. So what card have we got to go with the Knight of Pentacles? From Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray, we have Sanat Kumara, and this is all about light activation. This is a very light card. I hope you can see it all right. It's kind of whited out in my screen. But hey, everything whites out in my screen. I should get a new screen really, shouldn't I? It says here, shine your light, your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. And we'll bring that up to the camera and hopefully you can read that. I almost doubt it, but I just doubt these things because of my screen. When I watch things back on YouTube on another screen, I can see things. So there you go. I should activate my light, shouldn't I? And stop worrying about small things like that. But yeah, here he is, look, and he's kind of holding up his wand, which has got something that looks very much like a light bulb on top of it. And this is the thing, you know, with all the resources that we're looking at in the Knight of Pentacles here, none of those resources are any good unless we actually use them, let the abundance flow. And no light will shine, if it's an electric light anyway, unless you flick the switch. No candle will shine unless you actually strike a match or get out a lighter and actually get the flame going. That's the important thing. That's the message here more than anything else. Keep that abundance flowing. And this brings us very succinctly, there's the word, to card number 3. Now, if you've picked all 5, this is the pivotal card. This is what it all hangs on. It is number 13, and that can only mean it is the Death card from the Major Arcana here. Very positive view of death, though. You know, death is a way into a new life. In our human lives, it's the way forward into the afterlife, when we'll be considerably more than human, and eventually we'll get a chance to reincarnate. Maybe as a human, maybe as something else. You just never know with reincarnation. Kind of keeps you guessing, doesn't it? But here is the Death card. And Alice is here bravely blowing out the light. She knows not what is going to come next, but she is blowing out the light on the present. And this is a bit, have you ever known someone in a relationship and they're sick of the relationship, but they want to start a new relationship before they finish the old relationship, because they want to kind of hedge their bets, they want to kind of just be on top of things in that way. Very rarely works out for those people though, because the new partner who's coming in is spooked by the old partner, and the old partner may very well create trouble, which may in fact go on and on long into the new relationship, if there even is one. So, you know, what this card is saying is, let go of the past, even though you don't know what's coming down the pike. Let go of the past. It's that flow of abundance again, which is really becoming a theme with this reading. The flow of abundance is like a conveyor belt. If you don't take stuff off when it comes to you and actually use it and make use of it and have that abundance, then the conveyor belt has to stop, because otherwise the stuff will all end up piling up all over the floor, and we can't have that. So again, the flow of abundance, use those resources and do blow out the light on what no longer suits you, what no longer serves you. And if you've got any confusion at all about that, friends, Do some meditation, meditate for the answers, some quiet time, a walk somewhere. I'm blessed that I can go for walks in the country. I realise, very few people, very small percentage of people in this world can actually do that. But remember, beneath all the concrete that's under our feet is actually soil that they've poured the concrete on top of. Mother Earth is there, just a couple of feet below your feet. I say feet twice in the same breath, but there you go. Okay, so what have we got? Let's open up another card, this time from Keepers of the Light again, and it's Saint Germain. Karma releasing. Here is a very magical character, and if you picked card number 3 and you've got this card, then Saint Germain is around you, and Saint Germain is a very, very magical influence. Just a reminder of that. Many of you already know just who's around you and just what they're doing, but here's Saint Germain just leaning into the picture, saying hi, and also saying move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. And we're really looking at karma here. We inherit all kinds of karma from family members and maybe from past lives, and we also attract karma from people that we help time and time again. And when those people just go straight and make the same mistake again, haven't learned their lesson or whatever, because we haven't cut the cord, then we're going to get some of that karma every time, because that is always how it works. But here is Saint Germain, master of the 9th ray, master of the violet flame, saying, move beyond that drama. Okay, and there is going to be some drama if you're going to cut off from people that you keep helping, who are draining your energy and just like not bothering to move forward because you keep helping them. Sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind. You've got to cut those cords, and you've got to kind of just bring your karma into balance, and this is again to do with the flow of abundance. That flow is going nowhere if you take the abundance and you make use of it, but then use that abundance to help people who make a complete nonsense of it, then you're going nowhere. Then none of us are getting any place, because actually the people who depend on you aren't going to get anything out of that either. So think about cutting those cords if you need to. But basically, just like the man says here, move beyond drama. Bring things back into balance. He will help you. Call on Saint Germain. He isn't a Christian saint. He's the Count of Saint Germain, which is an area in France. But there he is. Absolutely amazing character, Saint Germain. And a character who's reincarnated many times, and some say he is the reincarnation of Merlin. Certainly I've found him very close to my heart since I've had the privilege of living right here on Merlin's Mountain in Wales, UK. I'm only about 14 miles from the place where Merlin actually lived out his last days, so the Merlin energy is very strong around here. I still mess things up, I screw up, things go wrong, all the help in the world from amazing people and ascended masters and people like Saint Germain doesn't just smooth out life. We're here to have these experiences. We're here to make things happen, to make life happen, and to actually experience it. That is super important, because no matter how many times we reincarnate, there's always something new to learn from the life that's ahead of us. Absolutely always. Okay. So that was the middle card, and now it's all about going forward if you picked all 5. Card number 4 is the 7 of Cups. So we've come away from that Pentacles energy now, we're into water sign energy. So it could be emotional, really. Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces are the astrological energies that go with this card. And the 7 of Wands is all about, turning away from illusions and not worrying about illusions. And goodness knows we're all beset by illusions one way or another. Everything on the board in front of Alice looks like, something crazy. There's something crazy about all of it. None of it really makes sense. And isn't this true of life in the world today, especially at the moment? I'm based in UK, and if you ever look at UK news, you'll know things are really, really insane here. I'm not going to go on and on about that, but I also watch a lot of American YouTubers. you know, and so I'm very much aware of what's going on over there, and actually everywhere in the world you look. When I listen to my shortwave radio, I hear different countries all over the world. Would you believe China's in a bit of a mess as well? You know, it's happening absolutely everywhere. Things are really, really up in the air. But the thing is, all of that is an illusion, really, because we are actually going to come out the other side of all this craziness. All we've really got to do is keep on going and do what Alice is doing and turn our backs on all this craziness, all these things that don't make sense, and keep on looking forward. There are actually 4 candles in this card as well, and candles represent a natural light, but you can hardly see them unless if I bring the card up really close, maybe you can see them. There's 2 really visible ones, and there's 2 higher up that are kind of hidden, but they're there, shedding their natural light on things and allowing us to think a bit more seriously about making things happen and how we are going to do that. Okay, so to go with that card then, let's have one from Carl Gray's Keepers of the Light. It is the Shekinah, the sacred self. And the Shekinah is saying, unleash your spirit, express your gifts, dance to the sacred rhythm of life. That's really what it's all about. That's really what we've all got to do. And here is a great dove of peace right in front of her, and in a sense all around her as well, as she contemplates that. Just unleashing your spirit. Again, we're looking at the flow of abundance, really. If we're kind of hanging on tightly to what we've already got, we're not unleashing the spirit, are we? It's always taking a bit of a chance when we unleash our spirit, when we just let go of things and let the soul take over. But it really is, I think it's a very safe way of taking a chance when you do that, because the gifts of spirit are extremely profound and will give us a lot and will make a big difference to life, really. And it's all about also dancing to the sacred rhythm of life, the sacred rhythm, not the stuff that the media is bombarding us with, not the stuff that the so-called truther YouTube channels are bombarding us with, but the truth, the sacred truth, the actual genuine stuff that the spirit realms, that the angels, that the universe are always bombarding us with. We tend to tune that out because we know we've got to live in this world. We've got to make the best of it. We are the kind of eyes and ears and physical bodies of spirit embodied within ourselves and living on this earth. There's no doubt about that. But we do have to think outside the box, really, because once you're aware of spiritual things, once you're taking notice of things like card readings, things like divination of all kinds, pendulums, going to mediums, all the different aspects, they all link up into one great big aspect, which is just the fact that in this world, this world itself is only a very small part of a very, very big picture, and we will have future incarnations and we will get places. So really the most peaceful thing to do is let go of all concerns about all the mad, crazy stuff that's happening in this world and be ready to just keep going. That is what it is to dance to the sacred rhythm of life, and that is what this dove of peace is representing, as the Shekinah, the sacred self, which we all have within us, is saying, unleash your spirit, express your gifts, as well as dancing to that sacred rhythm of life. And so we come to card number 5, the 6 of Wands. Here it is. We've changed 6 again into Wands, fire sign energy, very fiery energy, and the Wands are all about getting things done, really lighting the fire within yourself and making things happen. And the 6 of Wands, well, 6 is a very magical number, it has to be said, and all that fieriness here in this particular card is channeled into the idea that none of us are operating on our own, We've got to be aware of all the things that support us and nourish us in this life. And that, is all about the angels. It is all about the universe and the wonderful energies that come from there. But it is also about the people, maybe in our past or maybe in our lives at the moment, who are really a big part of why we are who we are and who are empowering for us. You know, we might as well cut the cords with people who aren't empowering, because goodness knows nobody needs to be dragged down like that, do they? But at the same time, you know, people are wonderful. I wouldn't cut off from absolutely everyone. I don't suppose you would, really. You know, it's not really natural. But this card is actually saying be aware of that. I've dropped the card, but I must have a drink before I pick the card up and continue. Really important to keep hydrating. And this cup has a wonderful message on the back. Don't know if you can really make it out there. Lots of glare, but it says, believe in yourself. Everything else will follow. And it also says love and light, because it was a gift to me from someone. But there you go. That is what love and light is really, really all about. You know, shining that inner light like Sanat Kumara told us to, not half an hour ago, to quote that famous thing from TV. Okay, Six of Wands though. Here is the knight. It looks a very knightly figure anyway, holding up his staff and surrounded by all the people who help, all the people who make it possible for him to carry out his mission. So remember those people, be aware of them. And if you pick this card in particular, friends, then, you know, look back over your life and ask yourself, how did you get where you are today? There was a wonderful British TV series in the 1970s called The Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin. I don't know if it ever made it to the States. If you can get it in the States, watch it. It's really funny. And there was a guy in there who was the boss man. And whenever he said anything to anyone, he'd always say, oh, I didn't get where I am today without something. And this is it. None of us got where we are today without the influences, without the help, without the friends and the family and the angels who actually got us to where we are now. That card is saying be aware of all that. The Six of Wands. So here is our final card of this very reading. Let me hold it up. Let me show you the back. It's the Vesica Pisces. There's several different layers of it, but it's all about birthing our way spiritually into a new existence. That's really what it's all about. All those cards, all of every card. That's what the spiritual life is really about. Lady Nada is this card to go with the Six of Wands. Heart awakening. Wow, that's a nice thought. And it says, she says, awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. Back to that idea of the flow of abundance again, which that's got to go in the title of this video, because that's what the whole thing has turned out to be about. You never really know. But when you pick out 5 cards at random and then pick out another 5 cards at random to go with them, and they all say the same thing, I think that's, excuse me, I think there's something to listen to there. So awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. Well, that acceptance of divine love is not that easy to do, because actually a lot of the people who helped us to get where we are today, like in the Six of Wands, would have said, you know, oh, don't do this, don't do that, and positive advice, things we can do, and some negative advice in terms of things to avoid, which of course can be very, very positive. But actually accepting divine love means accepting that it's not that we're better people. No, we're no better than anybody else. That's not what I'm saying at all. But we have this amazing advantage, and it's only an advantage because so many people never become aware of it. So many people listen to the voices of doom all around us and don't want anything to do with the spiritual life. It's the only reason it's something special for the rest of us. These gifts are available to absolutely everybody, if only they would accept them into their life and awaken to what's going on. We're always hearing people tell us to, you know, wake up, they're trying to take our guns away and they're trying to kill us all. Well, you know, let's wake up to the fact that there's some really good stuff going on in this world as well. And actually that reminds me, you know who I'm talking about, don't you really, when I say they're coming to take our guns? Not in UK, we're not allowed guns in the first place here, which I think is no bad thing actually. But Alex Jones, you know, I don't sit and watch his shows for hours on end because it's such negative energy. You know, it's, oh, I can't stand the guy. But I do sometimes kind of take notice of what's going on because he is a symbol of all those people who have nothing in their lives but fear. And as we know, he's met his match. It's cost him 45 million. And I dare say before very long it'll cost him another 45 million if he keeps going the way he's going. But there we go. He's awake to a lot of things, but not to divine love, not to anything like that. And that's what Lady Nada is really talking about, because it's a heart awakening. It's awakening your heart rather than awakening all your possible paranoid fears. And I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but maybe you've got some paranoid fears about all of the bad things happening in the world. I'm a prepper, you know, but I prep and I feel good about that. It makes me feel good. I don't have to walk around thinking about what might be taken away, because I've kind of got something to fall back on. You know, it's a really positive thing. It's a happy thing. Don't know why that guy rants on about it so much, but he really does. Anyway, give and receive in balance. And there's our reference to the flow of abundance. There is a balance to it. You know, everything we receive from the flow of abundance, we should make use of. We should enjoy, but we should share it as well, so that we are giving and receiving in balance, like the lady says. And with that, friends, that wraps up this reading. Thank you so much for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you would like a reading, contact me. My Gmail is down there, 35and83@gmail.com. That is 35and83@gmail.com, and we will fix a reading up, a private reading for you, when we can look into your issues a bit more deeply, find you some real good answers. That's my job. That's really what I'm all about. And I hope, guys, this video has helped you to find some answers as well. Please drop a like on it if you've enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe, like I say, and leave me a comment. Let me know what cards you picked. Let me know what's going on in the journey, because the idea of the comments on any spiritual YouTube channel is that we get to share the journey. And that's what I love about this channel. I get to share the journey with you guys. Anyway, I'm going to get on with my journey, buoyed up and kind of generally bolstered up. I can never think of words at a time like this. I'll think of it as soon as the camera's gone. But I'm sort of held up now and advised and informed. I'm going forward in faith based on what I've just seen in that reading. It's bound to help. So I hope you guys will do the same thing. And I'll see you again in a future video. Love and light, blessings and peace.